Fintech leading India's growth story. Fintech is a combination of two words, finance and technology. Technology is a force multiplier, and we can leverage it to ensure that financial services are more inclusive and sustainable. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome two distinguished guests. Please welcome Chartered Accountant Sundeep Mohindru, who's the co-founder and chief executive officer with M1 Exchange, India's largest online exchange for receivables. Sundeep, a warm welcome.
Thank you, Amit. Glad to be part of this conference, and I'm thanks to you and to the ICAI for inviting us.
Thank you very much. Sundeep joins us from Delhi. And let's hop across to the city of pearls, Hyderabad, from where we are joined by Keerthi Kumar Jain, who's the co-founder of Insurepays.com. And guess what? This is an Insurtech platform that rewards responsible behavior. And it was born during the first lockdown in April of 2020. As he is popularly known as KK, so I'll take the liberty of calling him KK. Welcome.
Hi, Amit. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Looking forward to connect with all the august audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sundeep, let me begin by asking you, you qualified as a chartered accountant in 1995. When did fintech occur to you?
Okay. So Amit, I qualified in 95 and I started an organization called Mind Solutions in 2002, which was more like a shared services and technology in not in this current format as we are in today, but in ERP kind of a format. And in those days, in 2002, ERP used to be the technology that you could leverage for services or for your business. And having said that, in 2016, there was a white paper released by RBI on MSME receivables financing. And I have been working in this venture of mine since 2002. And when I read about that paper, I found that this is a solution for solving a lot of MSME financing needs in India technologically. And in 2016, fintech or digital or these words were not so savvy. Yes. And I plunged into it with a lot of conviction that this is the solution that we could service the MSMEs. And it was only post demonetization when our current government pushed the digital agenda that these words became very savvy. And today fintech is one of the hot topics in the industry, and it is solving a lot of problems.
Yes, absolutely. Interesting that you mentioned that fintech is one of the hot topics. KK, is Insurtech also a hot topic? Or while the buzzword has become fintech, Insurtech still doesn't get that much of space?
Fine. Thank you so much. So while fintech is the larger superset, right? If you look out, and Insurtech remains a subset of the overall problem that we are trying to solve. But if you understand, India is very unique as a market. If you take FY 19-20 numbers, close to over 300 million active life insurance policies were available in the system, and close to $110 billion of premium was written, life, non-life, both put together. Yet, if you look out, the total penetration of insurance in this country is below 4%, right? And we believe by leveraging financial technologies, we can solve a lot of challenges with regards to insurance and take insurance to the last mile by changing the entire perception of the way people currently buy insurance as a product.
So why do we say insurance is a subject matter of solicitation?
Wonderful. See, basically, if you look out, the reality of life remains that everyone is interested in giving you credit because that's where you make returns immediately. But when you consider insurance, you basically are trying to mitigate, hedge, or basically trying to absorb the risk inherent in a particular asset, whether it's a life or whether it's a car or whether it's house or anything for that matter, right? So when you're trying to hedge or mitigate any kind of a asset and you're trying to underwrite them, it is subject matter of solicitation, because if I want to underwrite you, I would love to basically evaluate you and see whether whatever quantification or value you are commanding for your asset, is it true worth enough for it or not? And once I quantify that, I need to also go to my back room and understand how many probability theorems I can run on you and derive a risk appetite on that. So that's how it makes it a solicitation kind of a business.
But that would well change, KK, with the revenue model of Insurepays.com, because now you're rewarding responsible behavior. Help the viewers understand what's the business model. If I have a life insurance premium, say 10,000 rupees per year, and today is the due date, I pay it timely, then how does your company reward me?
Sure. Thank you so much. So first thing, let's break fintech, right? It's a very beautiful animal. We have been using it, right? I personally believe fintech is basically used to deliver and how we use financial services and how we can take those financial services to the last man in the society, right? And by leveraging technology, you can do same at population at scale. Now, when you come to Insurepays, what we are trying to do is that we are basically an embedded Insurtech platform, which means as Amit takes care of his bills, right, like your mobile bill payments, to your electricity bill payments, to your recharges, or to your mutual fund investments, or to your loan repayments, right, or you take care of your shopping needs, right, from groceries to travel, etc. How can we every time get you an incremental percentage saving for your present life, what you're doing, and this incremental percentage saving can automatically fund your future lifestyle. So thereby the entire perception of insurance gets changed, because today insurance is being bought either by basis of price comparison or because of saving tax. But insurance has to be bought that tomorrow, God forbid, the breadwinner doesn't exist. How can my family ensure the lifestyle as is varies? Now, with that in place, and on the other side, India being an emerging economy where millions and millions of people are still marginal middle class and bottom of the pyramid, how can we change the entire perception? And that can be changed only when we say that, hey, guy, you just go and take care of your milk, and you also take care of your future milk for your child automatically. That's what Insurepays is trying to do. So we are partnered with around 30,000 plus brands, both offline and online, across 300 plus categories. So whenever you're spending anything or making any kind of bill payments, be rest assured that you're not just taking care of your present, but Insurepays is taking care of your future as well.
Okay,
at no incremental cost.
Point that KK mentions, that don't buy insurance as a commodity by comparing the cheaper prices, but the right adequate insurance for a consumer will be according to his or her own lifestyle. Sundeep, help us with the business model of M1 Exchange. I believe there are three important constituents here. Of course, there's the M1 Exchange platform. Then you've got the MSME, the suppliers, the large corporates, the financiers. How does the system work when you say business finance now is as easy as withdrawing cash?
Sure. So Amit, a supplier to a large corporate or to the government entity today raises an invoice and submits his invoice via his mobile phone on a platform. And the bank or the M1 platform is not taking a risk call on his balance sheet. We are not reviewing what is his CIBIL score, what is his rating, anything. We are not concerned about that. He has delivered goods and services to a large corporate. We as a platform and as a bank just evaluate his customer, and basis his customer, there is a bidding by the banks for discounting his invoice. There are 40 banks in our country who are discounting that invoice online. And the invoice submitted today, that is on Thursday till 9 p.m. will be credited to his account tomorrow between 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Wow.
And on the due date, we will collect the proceeds from his customer on the due date, which is, let's say, 60 days later, 90 days later, whatever is the credit period. Now, this whole mechanism is digital. No one needs to be on the computer or on the screen, and it gives it is a treat to watch. And that's 600 cities in India. People are logging in and submitting invoices for discounting. And the rate of interest at which they are getting discounting done is ranging, the lowest is about 4% per annum. and the highest is in the range of about 10 to 11% per annum.
But isn't that ironical, Sandeep? When you say no CIBIL score, no look at the financial statements, no look at the rating, right? No collateral, then how does the business afford to give discounting rate as low as 4%?
Absolutely. And that's a win-win in the entire offering, that the banks are taking a risk call on a large company, let's say as large as an auto giant, let's say Maruti, for example. And for a Maruti, the rate of interest may range anything between 3% to 5% per annum. And his supplier is getting funding at the same rate as Maruti by the bank. And for a bank, this is a Maruti paper. This is a Maruti commercial, like a Maruti commercial paper, wherein the Maruti is committing to pay in 60 days. And the funding is going to an MSME. So it's a social cause that they are serving for the country. And it qualifies for priority sector lending for a bank. So it's a win-win. He's taking a risk on Maruti. He's giving funding to an MSME. And he's getting priority sector lending. I mean, best of all the worlds.
Wow. And this is possible today because of fintech.
This is possible because this is digital. This is, see, factoring has been going on in India for ages. But let's say if a banker sitting in Coimbatore doesn't know that if he has to discount the invoice of a supplier of Airtel in North India, then who to call in Airtel and say that this bill is genuine or not, right? Yes. It's why digital now that the Airtel logs in as an example and says this bill is accepted by me because I've taken the service.
Right.
So the banker sitting in South India knows that this is a genuine invoice given by a SME to a Airtel. Right. So he can therefore bid versus a manual environment where this is not possible. That is one point. Right. Just one last point I'll say. This is a many-to-many relationship, and this is the power of digital, a network effect. Now, if I am supplier to Airtel, I am supplier to Maruti, I don't have to, and I am getting funding from SBI and I'm getting funding discounting from, let's say, HSBC. I don't have to enter into a loan agreement with either of them. I am registered on the exchange. I have done my KYC. Any of the 40 banks can discount me, and it's a many-to-many relationship for any of my customer.
Right.
You know, so that is the power of digital.
Absolutely. I think because of increased data points that one can capture because of digital businesses is where factoring, though, has existed all these years now. Because of fintech, we can probably have easier access of finance to MSME, like the Honorable Union Minister, Mr. Gadkari, was also mentioning that MSME is the backbone of India's economy. A quick response, Sandeep, before I go to KK. Is there any reward or value back that you give, Sandeep?
So actually, it's such a huge value back that we are giving, which an MSME is enjoying today. See, if I have been an MSME entrepreneur all my life, right? Yes. If I do service for my customer, I have to arrange to do my collection of receivables. There has to be a team which has to be there to collect the receivables, whether I'm borrowing or not borrowing, that doesn't matter, right? Now here, I have taken away that work. You do as an MSME, you don't need to call anyone for collection of your invoice. The platform is giving it free of cost in a way because you are financing it. Right. And in case your customer fails to pay on time, you are relieved because it is factoring, you've sold your receivable.
Okay.
So it's between a bank or an NBFC and your customer. So actually speaking, MSME looks upon it as it's a godsend product, yes, wherein I am walking out of it with all my risk transferred.
Yes. Okay. So it's a win-win for all the stakeholders. Value back, KK, has become such a buzzword these days in digital economy. So help me with that example. If I go to insurepays.com, I pay my 10,000 rupee yearly premium. Do I get 10,000 value back points?
Sure. So, Amit, how it works is that today it works two ways. One is that you come to Insurepays as a platform and you pay 10,000 rupees of insurance premium to any insurance company out there by leveraging the Bharat bill payment system on our platform. Once you do this successfully, you will get 10,000 equivalent worth value back points. Each point is equal to 1 rupee. Now this value back point which you have earned has got a validity of next 365 days from the date of credit or earned. Now in next 1 year, whenever you are doing any kind of a shopping across these 30,000 plus brands which are referred, let it be Mintras of the world, let it be Big Basket of the world, let it be Swiggy of the world, or let it be any other, including Hindustan Petroleum for that matter, right? So whenever you are doing any kind of spending across this brand partners or bill payments, you are able to encash these value back points, which are incremental additional discounts what the customer would get when they spend on these brand partners. So over next 1 year, depending upon your shopping pattern or your purchasing pattern, you will be able to make your insurance cost completely free. This is one side of the flow. The second side of the flow is that you start spending today, right? And you start accumulating piggy bank coins, which we call as Insurepays coins. And as and when you accumulate these coins, whenever your insurance premium is due, whether it's life or non-life, automatically you can do a standing instructions from this piggy bank. Automatically your insurance premium would be taken care of. And if any additional value is left in the piggy bank of Insurepays, the customer can draw down to his or her designated bank account. Thereby, for the first time, your insurance can become free as you enjoy your life, lifestyle.
Okay, so since you say life and non-life insurance, can we expect going forward trade, receivable, insurance, and other forms of insurance could also be covered?
Sure, why not? That's what the journey we are planning to travel. But as I said, life and motor itself is such a huge opportunity out there. Probably we would love to carry on our focus on that space as of today and probably cover the entire landscape as we travel.
Right. Sundeep, would you agree? Just like in the bigger set of fintech, sometimes Insurtech gets ignored. Similarly, in the bigger set of insurance, nobody looks at trade receivable insurance.
Yeah, you're right, Amit. Trade receivable insurance has been approved by IRDA as latest as November 2021. And January 22, that is the current month going on, or in February 22, the first transaction on trade credit insurance should be done online. And hopefully this product should pick up speed, and this will help MSMEs in a big way as trade credit insurance.
And how do you see the legislation in the 2021 last year? We had the Factoring Regulation Amendment Act. Do you think the legislation is now encouraging the financing to MSME sector because we now have a powerful weapon in fintech?
Amit, believe me, government is doing a lot to push the financing of MSME. And the Factoring Act legislation, which underwent a change, was done with so much of inputs which have gone from the industry. The first time in our country, NBFCs have now been allowed, and what was passed in the previous budget, the notification has been released by RBI today morning, that NBFCs have been allowed to do factoring for the receivables, and therefore you will see huge amount of liquidity coming in the market for these receivables. Trade credit insurance has been allowed, like I just said, and you would see again it going live in this month or early next month. Both these points are a part of the Factoring Act regulation change, and TREADS, which I am representing, has become a part of the Factoring Act. So, so there is so much of importance and the direction being given. This will help a lot in the growth. And like you said, value back, the society is getting a value back, that our country is becoming competitive. See, if I am a small supplier and I am getting funding at 5% per annum, I am making the whole ecosystem competitive. And that is the largest value add that government is making, we are making together to the whole ecosystem.
Absolutely brilliant. Congratulations for TREADS, such an innovative mechanism that we have. But KK, tell us more about your professional journey. You did your engineering in the year 2000, your management from IIM Kozhikode in 2003, almost 11 years corporate life, and comes COVID, first lockdown, and you come up with Insurepay. It's been quite an interesting journey.
Yeah, so actually you have covered the most of it, but I'll just tell you what has been not covered. So this is my second stint. I currently have two hats on my head. One, I run a fintech company, which is an NBFC P2P, which is an anytimeloan.in. I started this in 2016. And eventually in 2020 is where I forayed into Insurepays.com. So currently these are the two endeavors which I'm running right now, right? And as you know, NBFC P2P is basically a process where, on a lighter sense, we say, why should banks have all the fun, right? So what happens is that there are one set of depositors whose money the bank is consuming and extending it as further credit, and banks enjoy the entire leverage out of it, while the depositor earns 3.5% per annum. This is on the lighter side of the event, right? But if you look out, I have been into financial services almost for 11 years. I have 17 national records when I was serving with ICICI. I was also the first recipient of CEO trophy from ITS Bank when I was serving them as the regional head. I was also a recipient of insurance industry's first Guinness Book of World Record when I was with ICICI way back in 2005. Has been a journey where I've seen three set of different organizations. One is ICICI, which is very, very aggressive, and Mr. Kamath was heading at its helm. Then came Yes Bank, which was a startup, learned the hard way of creating institutions out there. And then the last corporate stint, I worked with Nagarjuna Construction, which is basically an infrastructure conglomerate, a completely different structure where you have to liaise with the government, get the work done with them. So work with one aggressive organization, one startup kind of a system, and the third is a government kind of an institution. And that's what gave me a different perspective about how we can probably solve the larger piece of challenges out there in this country. And I personally am very excited in the space currently we are. So if you see current numbers, I was very excited last month. The UPI was able to clock over 100 billion worth of transactions. The Aadhaar-enabled payment system is currently clocking 25,000 crores per month of cash withdrawals in the tier 3, tier 4 towns. Right? We are world's largest direct benefit transfer program, thanks to the Jan Dhan program, which was introduced. I can keep on saying now it's coming. Yes. I believe the future is going to be about account aggregators backed with GST reforms, right, which will completely democratize credit in this country. So when I started with why banks should have the fun, I mean to say this, with the advent of AAs and GST, that's going to happen. If not today, probably 5 years from now.
Okay, let me share some statistics as well. As I said, it was April 2020 that Insurepays was founded. In less than 2 years, premium processed in excess of 145 crore, value back given in excess of 141 crore. And if you talk about Sundeeps company, M1 Exchange, last year, fiscal year 2021, 20,000 crore worth of invoices were discounted. And current fiscal 21-22, Sundeep, we're looking at estimated 45,000 crores.
Yeah, so KK, this is KK and Amit. So this is the trades as a whole. There are 3 trades entities, and all 3 trades entities discounted invoices worth 20,000 crore last year and approximately 40,000 crores current year. And this is just the beginning of the upside. And this is in the current year when 3 months of operations have been disrupted because of the second wave of Corona. After that, we are all planning to do about 40,000 crore. And this is really helping the industry and the MSMEs all India. Must compliment the government for picking it up.
Okay, just a couple of minutes left for us to conclude our conversation. Tell us more about the technology. Sundeep, how are you using blockchain technology to ensure we cover all the risk?
Right. So, Amit, when we started, one of the points was that in this vast country, there is a lot of possibility that the invoice may not be genuine, or there may be a possibility that the invoice is duplicate. It has been financed by somebody else, and now it is being financed by us. So that's when we have set up with, there is a partner called Monetago who set up the blockchain system. And this system records all the invoices which are getting discounted by this mechanism. and it's a blockchain system. So there are 3 exchanges, there are multiple banks, and all the invoices get recorded here in this blockchain system. And it is checked within a second of the posting of the invoice, whether the invoice is a duplicate or not. So this is one side of the technology. The second side of the technology, which I think I should share with everyone, is as simple as that if you are doing factoring in India and the courts today have a discipline of taking signed loan agreements. And if tomorrow there is a default and the bank has to go to a court of law for recovery, the question we were put across is that a digital transaction will not stand in the court of law the same parlance as today it stands in a physical environment. And that's when we deployed digital signatures in our platform on the go, using mobile phone, using Aadhaar. And today, every transaction is digitally signed by 600 cities, MSMEs logging in from 600 cities. They're using Aadhaar signature on mobile and signing the transaction and selling the receivable to a bank. So it's a legal transaction, and it involves a lot of value, money. Like I said, 40,000 crores. So, and it stands in the court of law, the similar standing as a physical document does. So that's the kind of value technology could bring on the table for all of us.
One final question to both of you, beginning with you, Sundeep. 1995, you qualified as a chartered accountant. Your memories of either articleship, early days of chartered accountancy. It's the virtual conference today organized by your alma mater, ICAI. How do you see association with the institute and your journey?
Amit, I get an extra kick by attending a session hosted by the institute. Let me be honest and clear, because this is where my heart and my soul reside. I have been trained by this institute, and every time I've started a new venture, like I started M1 Exchange, the feedback given to me was this will not work. The banker said digital financing chalne wali nahi hai. Country में कोई invoice खरीदेगा नहीं, digital invoice कोई खरीदेगा नहीं, factoring is a failure in India, all that which comes on the table. And you have to carry a conviction because you have been trained by the institute. What is a strong process? What is a robust, I would say, sustainable process? What solves the problem for the country? And today, touch wood, with God's grace and with everybody's support, every bank wants to do this. I mean, we now engage with the banks that what's the business plan for the current month? What's the business plan for the next month for volumes?
Yes.
So actually, Institute is trained us for that detailed, and hard work, detailing and the hard work, I would say, which helps us in every venture we do.
Yes, absolutely. And, having 45 banks associated with your business, and the fact that not only you've created a successful model, you have 600 plus cities logging in, also ensures that once you are digital, you are sustainable too with that kind of wider reach. CA Sundeep Mohindru, congratulations. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Amit.
So stay on, because we've saved the best for the last, because the last question I want to request KK is very interesting. Not only he is an engineer, not only he is a financial services specialist, he's also a startup specialist, but he's also a good singer. So as we conclude this session, can I request KK to please sing a song? And thank you very much for sharing about the business model of Insurepays.com. Thank you.
This is just fixing me on the spot. While I've never done this, that's the reason you have been into Doordarshan. It's always good to have your darshan from Dur, right? Sure. So let me take the opportunity, right? So I'm just trying to catch up any song if I can do it for the audience. सागर किनारे दिल ये पुकारे, तू जो नहीं तो मेरा कोई नहीं है, सागर किनारे. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Well, that's the trendsetter who creates an impact business.
This is a very good one.
Thank you so much.
Once again, CA Sundeep and KK. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.